Hey folks, it's Patrick Gill for Polygon.com, and I just got back from Devolver Digital's booth, or I guess it was technically a parking lot behind a Hooters at E3, where I got to play a bunch of games that looked and felt really cool. The first one that I got some hands-on time with is Devolver. It's a game that you might have heard of already. It's sort of a martial arts Dark Souls, takes place in this weird sort of cartoony universe where everybody's got a mask over their face. But it feels really fun and satisfying. You get to build your own martial arts combos, you're learning new moves by countering moves and taking moves from other people, you're partnering up with people to fight together, and you're sparring with one another to get better at the game. There's also a one-on-one mode that I got a bit of time with that was pretty fun. The biggest new thing that they showed for Devolver in my time there was the drunken boxing style, which looks and feels so amazing. I'm a huge fan of Jackie Chan, and particularly the film just Drunken Master and Return of Drunken Master. And there are a lot of moves in this particular combat style that are lifted directly from those films. So it was really fun to sort of feel a little bit like Jackie Chan in my favorite film. I also got to spend some time with a game called Minute. It's being made by a pretty small team with some folks from larger studios who are working on smaller things now. And it is a really, really cute game that reminds me a bit of Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening with a really weird twist, and that's every 60 seconds you die. So you're going on these tiny little bite-sized adventures over and over again, and on any one of those given adventures you might unlock an item or a tool that you get to keep in your next run that'll let you get to new places. So for example, in my playthrough, I found a sword. And then in my next playthrough, I went to a coffee bar where I found a character who told me he wished somebody would kill the crabs on the beach. So I died, and on my next playthrough, I went and I killed a bunch of crabs on the beach, and then I ran to that coffee house, and he gave me some coffee. And that coffee let me move boxes elsewhere on the map. So it's this really fun little cycle of experimentation and walking around this world and meeting new characters and trying to solve their needs in a very short amount of time. And it was really fun and cute, and yeah, that was Minute. Another game that I got a bit of time with that was really cute and promising was called Swords of Ditto. It looks and feels at first glance a lot like a Zelda game. You're moving around a map, you're collecting new items that let you go to new places, but there's some interesting spins on it. Pretty much it takes that cyclical hero mythology that exists in every Zelda game where you're the next in line of a long line of heroes, and it actually turns that into a gameplay mechanic. So you'll have a session where you'll go out into this randomly generated world, you'll fight monsters, you'll kill things, you'll get new items, and then you'll try to take down a demon who lives in a big old tower in the middle of the world. And it's going to be really hard, and you might fail. And if you fail, the world will fall into darkness for 100 years until the next hero emerges. And the people in that world will sort of tell the story of the previous attempt at taking down this enemy. But you can also successfully complete the tower, and that still won't end the cycle. So I was talking to the devs a bit, and they said that there are ways to permanently break the cycle of the game, but it's pretty complicated and it's going to take some work, and it might take effort across several lifetimes. Aesthetically, the game is super cute. It takes place in a weird fantasy world that's not quite fantasy. People have video game consoles and gadgets. The art design is really cute, and it's drop-in co-op. So if you have a friend who wants to join you on, they just hit a button and they're with you. One of my favorite things about the game, which we've got some video of, is if your partner falls, the way that you get them back in the game is you walk over to them and you give them a really big hug. And once they've received the hug, they're back up and they're fighting again. But it's pretty sweet because in order to do that, you actually have to give them half of your own health. So it's a really weirdly positive, cute adventure game that I'm excited to see more of. The last game that I got to see at Devolver Digital's booth was called Songbringer, and it's a game that I've got to spend a bit of time with in the past. Mechanically, it's another Zelda-like game with randomly generated elements, but I think the thing that really helped me connect to it is that it's kind of autobiographical. It's being made by one guy. He's doing the graphics, the programming, the music, and it's sort of his life story turned into a weird psychedelic space adventure game. It's about a character who eats these hallucinogenic cactuses on his galaxy-spanning adventure and expands his mind, but then has to start learning how to adventure without those cactuses. I think it's got an interesting narrative, it's got a really cool aesthetic, it feels pretty fun to play, and yeah, that's Songbringer. So that's the stuff that I got to see at Devolver Digital's booth here at E3. Stay tuned, we've got a bit more E3 coverage coming up on the website and on YouTube and all that shit, so bye.